All right, good evening and welcome to the 5 p.m. Tulsa City Council meeting. You can view this meeting on our Facebook page or on YouTube channel, Cox Channel 24, or at tgovonline.org. Assisting the council tonight are Jack Blair, our city attorney, Lori Doring, our secretary to the council, Chris Boffman, council staff. If you wish to speak on an agenda item, please see Chris to complete a request to speak card prior to that item being read. You will not be allowed to speak on any item that has already been read. Please join us in pledging allegiance to the flag of our country and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. People wishing to speak on an agenda item are limited to 5 minutes total per meeting. Public input is a time for members of the public to provide insight on the agenda item. Due to the meeting format, public input is not a time for a question and answer period. All comments should be relevant to the agenda item and directed to the council. We are using an electronic timing system in front of the speakers. At the microphone, there is a timer that will count down the time used. A green light will indicate your time is running. Yellow light will come on when you have 30 seconds remaining in your allotted time, and a blinking red light will be shown when your time has concluded. We ask that you stay within your time limit so everyone wishing to speak is given equal time. Thank you. Please keep the podium area railings and aisles free from recording devices and tripods. Recording equipment and accessories, including tripods, must be set up in the media center. As posted on tonight's agenda, certain items are subject to consideration and possible approval, adoption, denial, amendment, or revision. I call this meeting to order. Lori, please call the roll.
Counselor Hall Harper.
Here.
Counselor Archie.
Here.
Counselor Dutton.
Here.
Counselor Bellis.
Here.
Counselor Gilbert.
Here.
Counselor Bengal.
Here.
Counselor Dr. Wright.
Here.
Counselor Lakin.
Here.
Counselor Bush.
Here. All right, we're all here this evening. Item 1, receipt and filing of minutes. A, minutes of regular meeting held at 4 p.m. on April 15th, 2026. B, minutes of regular meeting held at 5 p.m. on April 15th, 2026. Do we have any speakers?
We have no speakers.
Is there council discussion?
Move to approve items 1A and B.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Counselor Lakin.
Yes.
Counselor Bush.
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper.
Yes.
Counselor Archie.
Yes.
Counselor Dutton.
Yes.
Counselor Bengal.
Yes.
Bellis. Sorry.
Yes.
Bellis and Bengal. Counselor Gilbert.
Yes.
Counselor Dr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay, items 1A through 1B are approved. 2, appointments and reappointments. 2A, Ashley Webb, reappointment to the Sales Tax Overview Committee. Do we have any speakers?
And one speaker in item 2A, Mr. John Huffines.
I'm thankful for our honorable leaders. Peace, yes, peace. I'm grateful for the Honorable Council Chair, Karen Gilbert, the Honorable Vice Chair, Christian Bingle, Honorable Councilors, staff, team, and security. Also thankful for the Honorable Councilor Jack Henderson being here tonight. We are thankful to the citizens of this great city of love, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is a joy to be with you on this 29th day of April in the year of our loving Lord Jesus Christ, 2026. Yes. Appointments and reappointments. A, Ashley Webb, reappointment to the Sales Tax Overview Committee. Term expires December 31st, 2028. Attended 13 of 15 meetings. I'm grateful for Mr. Ashley Webb and for his service to our city. May we continue to honor our employees and volunteers. Thank you, family.
Thank you, Mr. Huffines. Any other speakers?
We have no more speakers.
All right, is there council discussion?
Move to approve item 2A.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Gilbert?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes.
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Right, item 2A is approved. I don't see Mr. Webb with us this evening. Okay. 3, public hearings. 3A, public hearing to receive comments regarding a proposed ordinance amending Title 43M of Tulsa Revised Ordinances, which is the City of Tulsa's expenditure policy for the 2023 temporary sales tax, amending the projects and purpose for which expenditures of proceeds may lawfully be made. This carries the emergency clause. Is there a motion to go into public hearing?
I move to enter public hearings.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Gilbert?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes.
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Okay, we are now in public hearing. Please call the, how many speakers do we have?
We have 15 total speakers.
Oh. Are they divvied up between for and against?
Yes, I have 5, or, no, well, we have one signing up right now. 7 for, right now 5 against, and 2 undeclared.
Yeah. All right, 5 minutes each, so let's call the first speaker. Yep, up to 5 minutes.
First speaker is John Hall.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening, city councilors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. My name is John Hall. I am the executive director for Greenwood Legacy Corporation, the community development corporation charged with operationalizing the years of work residents and stakeholders have put into developing the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. As you all are aware, this plan was a careful and co-creative process that took more than 4 years to develop and required city council approval, not to mention the voter-approved bond package and Improve Our Tulsa 3, which allocated dollars for the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. Although it represents $5 million of a $15 million award package to 12 neighborhoods for revitalization projects, specifically including transportation improvements, parks and trails, trees and landscaping, and neighborhood identity. The work that is being done with the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan serves this very purpose. There are 3 sites identified in the plan: the core, the stitch, and the plaza. These sites are the very projects that are part of the Improve Our Tulsa Round 3 bond package. Because of this bond package funding allocation, work has been done in a principled approach. Tulsa Development Authority and Greenwood Legacy Corporation are working together to implement a federal grant that was received in the amount of $990,000 from the U.S. Department of Transportation. The scope of the grant is specifically to study capital improvement planning, such as the transportation, mobility, infrastructure, specifically outlined in the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. This federal funding of $990,000 leverages the $5 million in capital funding that was explicitly restricted for Improve Our Tulsa Round 3, and that represents 20% of leverage so that we can implement key action items outlined in the plan. Since the adoption of the master plan by the City Council in December of 2022, foundational steps have been taken to move toward implementation. On the back of your handout, you'll see the phased implementation approach that we are in phase 4, which is input to action and preparing for development. We are also working to build organizational and community capacity, evaluating development scenarios for publicly owned opportunity sites, aligning infrastructure, policy, and funding strategies, and we are continuing community engagement and education throughout the process. Now, specifically, Greenwood Legacy Corporation, which is a Community Development Corporation, or CDC, is a separate and independent 501c3 nonprofit, as in the eyes of the Internal Revenue Service. Tulsa Development Authority provided incubation to independence to implementation. Greenwood Legacy Corporation is currently the only entity in position to serve as that representative body for the community that's been designed by the community. And the community's voice throughout the process wanted to have specific real resources committed to implement the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. I fully recognize Councilor Hall Harper's desire to increase capital investment in North Tulsa. It is absolutely necessary to the vibrancy of our community as a whole. However, I am adamantly opposed to expanding the target area and removing Greenwood Legacy Corporation as the community-led governance structure that is to receive the $5 million in capital funding from the Improve Our Tulsa Round 3. This proposed action would destabilize ongoing efforts rooted in community engagement that has included nearly 2,000 voices to date, to merely a rapid evaporation of resources that would make the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan implementation stall. Greenwood Legacy Corporation has been diligent, consistent, and transparent throughout the process. You can review every step of our project on our project implementation website, which is ourlegacytulsa.org, or our website, greenwoodlegacy.org. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you very much. Please call the next speaker.
Next speaker is Christy Williams, followed by Rose Hardwick.
Good evening, counselors.
Good evening.
My name is Christy Williams, Chair of the Beyond Apology Commission. The real question before us is simple. Who holds the power to manage these funds, and can the community trust that process? And I want to say this plainly. You cannot go around the sitting councilor in a district and make decisions for her community. That is not how representation works. That is not how trust is built. Counselors, you saw the presentations today. From Belinda Radney with Historic Greenwood Main Street, Rose Washington of TEDC, the Chief Operations Officer, and developer Franchelle Abdallah. The leadership is there. It's there. The expertise is there. And the commitment is there. Now let's talk about what makes sense. Partner Tulsa operates within a broader system tied to the Tulsa Development Urban Renewal Authority. And while that structure has a role, it has not always built trust in our community. On the other hand, the Tulsa Economic Development Corporation, TEDC, is a community development financial institution specifically designed to invest in underserved communities and ensure those investments reach the people. And we don't have to guess what TEDC can do. We can look at the results, like projects as Oasis Fresh Market, the shops on North Peoria, Moten, which we call GEM, the Greenwood Entrepreneurship at Moten, which we will have our ribbon cutting tomorrow at 10 a.m. But these are not ideas. These are real developments, driving business, creating access, and serving this community right now. That matters, because this is not just about capacity. It's about proven impact. We will also hear from voices in moments like this who are not consistently present in this work. And respectfully, the community we notice, but this work requires commitment, not convenience. And at the end of the day, we need the opportunity to develop our community with partners we trust. We need a real say in how our community is developed. And our city councilor deserves to be at the table when decisions about economic development are being made in her district. I also want to acknowledge that many of you have already expressed that the community should have a say, have a voice, and we appreciate that. And today is that opportunity to affirm that commitment. So this is not just a funding decision, it is a governance decision. And I urge you to support transferring this $5 million to TEDC. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Rose Hardwick, followed by Jack Henderson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Rose Hardwick. I'm a member and proud member of District 1. First and foremost, I'm for the proposed amendment. I attended a meeting at Mount Vernon last year. The subject was the Brown Ordinance, Kirkpatrick Heights. After listening to much discussion, there were 4 things. I was amazed. I was amazed the more things change, the more they remain the same. I was shocked at the members in our district that continue to allow the system to cause division and turmoil within our district. And I was in disbelief that the leader we voted for is not included in a major decision for our district. Also, the fact that an individual that ran against our present city councilor is very instrumental in the team making the decisions for the district, which takes away the right that we have as voters, because we did not vote partner Tulsa into this. Our councilor, Howell Harper, has fought long and hard for our district. Our District 1 is now a ship going in the right direction, and it makes us very proud to see the progress. We voted for her to represent our district, which through her, we have a voice in decision-making. Partner Tulsa was not voted by the people. Partner Tulsa takes away the power of the people of our district. So I'll finish with one question. Let's see, let's take District 8. What if someone selected an individual that ran against District 8 counselor, and that individual had the power to make decisions within his district and he didn't? Is that fair? That he's no longer included in major decisions because a person he ran against him will not make that decision. So in conclusion, again, I'm for the proposed amendment.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Jack Henderson, followed by Tyler Duncan.
Hello, counselors. It feels funny for me to be on this side of the table. For the last 8 years, I have tried my best not to come down here. And it's only because I did not want to interfere with what the city council is sitting now is all about. I have not agreed with her on none of her decisions. I am embarrassed about the council letting her get away with so much. If Joe Williams or myself would have got any of the stuff that she done, we would have been kicked out, probably put in jail. And I'm embarrassed that because she plays the race card, that some of you guys are listening to this crazy stuff. She was on board when this committee, 11 of us was picked by Mayor Bynum to be on this committee. And then it went to 34. Then it went down to 5. Those 5 people are now serving. It's been over 3 years, and I cannot for the life of me understand why simply because she didn't end up being one of the 5, why she's taking it out on the community to try to move this money. The citizens voted for that money, and they want it to stay. And I am sick and tired of seeing stuff when I didn't say, I didn't look at the council, because I do watch you guys. I just don't choose to come because I don't want to embarrass anybody. Councilman Hall Harper kind of got started in politics because of me. And I am really shocked that I put her on the Sales Tax Overview Committee because her girlfriend, Dana Burt, asked me to. I didn't know who she was and never seen her, never heard of her. But Dana said, please, she will not disappoint you. She's disappointed me ever since she's been there. She started trying to run against me as soon as I put her on it. And I thought, whoa, that's kind of weird. You know, I stepped out of bounds to let her be the city councilman. Let her do that. And then she came after me.
Yeah.
She's spreading rumors that.
Mr. Henderson, if you could direct all of us and not just one particular counselor, please,
Okay, that's good.
in the agenda
I'm
item.
standing here today
Yep.
blaming each and every one of you for letting her get away with what she's been doing. That's what I'm talking about. And I could name some other ones. Some of you guys I serve with. And that's why I can't understand why a city councilman is not God. And when they say that they
Mr.
think
Henderson, you need to bring it back to the agenda item, please.
that, that's what I'm up here talking about.
Oh,
Leaving this $5 million where it
you
is because it was voted by the people. And I can see that this is not going to work out for me as I thought it would. But you know what? Each of you got to sleep at night. And each of you, if you vote to move this money and this organization does not move ahead like it's been moving without her, we're going to see a difference. We're going to have to go out and try to find $5 million from somewhere else that was allocated for us. Come on now. That is crazy. And it's only because she told us today, she said, they disrespected me. Come on, they disrespected me when I was on the city council. And I pulled my pants up and said, next, because it didn't matter about one person. And one person should not dictate to you guys what you should do with this $5 million. I am for it. I hope that you do the same thing. We need that money. Thank you.
thank you. All right, next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Tyler Duncan.
Hello.
Hello.
I literally went and got a collared shirt for you guys. Okay. All right. So, I got a lot of questions. Reading the supporting document here towards the end, TEDC is an organization that seeks to create economic vitality in communities by encouraging, sustaining small business growth in Tulsa, by navigating funding opportunities and offering education to support small business needs. TEDC has extensive experience in doing this. Heard some of those things tonight as well, Oasis, Moton, all that. I have specific questions about how money has gone to small businesses, how they've been able to help small businesses. As a small business owner myself, but then I also have specific questions. Also, are you guys allowed to, do you answer questions if I ask them?
Do not.
Fine.
We're hearing you, though.
Okay.
We do not
Just
answer
keep-
your, we
I'm
cannot
going to
answer
keep
all
going. I'm going to keep going.
questions.
Okay, so one of the first questions that I have is, this $5 million, who's administering the $5 million in the first place? Is it TDA? Is it Partner Tulsa? Is it the city of Tulsa? Because it's not Partner Tulsa. TDA is only administering parcels, to my understanding. And to my understanding, that is based on a conversation between the mayor's office, the GLC, and TDA, which TDA is a completely separate legal lever than TEO. That's kind of a question, that's kind of a statement. So there's a lot of muddy water about who is administering $5 million. And it sounds like folks want TEDC to be the one administering it. So some of the questions that I have specifically about that are, okay, how many small businesses has TEDC financed since, let's say, 2020? That's one question. How much money has gone out to them? How much money has been given? How many businesses? How much money has gone out? How many of those businesses are still in business today? Those are questions. Another one, how much of the revitalizing, can somebody help me out with this one? Revolving loan fund, or whatever it's called. That fund, how much of that money actually went out to small businesses? And how many businesses were actually able to take that money from TEDC? That's a big question that I have, because I know that Partner Tulsa was instrumental in that. Also, why does it have to be TEDC? Is it because TEDC is a community development financial institution? Is it because they have worked with community development corporations? Because all of this master plan is on Cherokee Nation Reservation. I don't hear very much conversation about Cherokee Nation Reservation. That's a big deal to me. I'm Cherokee. I live in the master plan. I've lived there for 10 years. Lived in the neighborhood for a couple of years before that as well. Very important to me as a member of this community to whom this will be happening. And so Cherokee Nation is also a CDFI, has also worked in tandem with community development corporations. Cherokee Nation also offers these loans at 4% interest. Cherokee Nation also has built a community center in North Tulsa, has fought against the federal government to bring freedmen back into the tribe, and is actively working with a lot of folks in this community, in my district, in Vanessa Hall Harper's district, to make sure that people who were slaves during the 1800s, moving through the 1900s, who did not receive any of those benefits, get those benefits at the federal level, and as far as the executive orders that he has implemented in the past 2 years. This is according to the Black Wall Street Times. Push Congress to the courts to recognize Cherokee freedmen descendants as equal Cherokee citizens under the federal Major Crimes Act. Can't be unless the federal government says, okay, that is the case. Establish a task force to examine freedmen's descendants' participation in benefit programs and basically bring more of them in, and purchase a North Tulsa property to build the Cherokee Community Center. They've already built that. We've had several meetings there. So some of the questions are, if it has to go through TEDC, why? Why not make it more readily available through other organizations such as MetaFund out of OKC, Cherokee Nation through Cherokee Nation? I yield my time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speakers are James and Bernice Alexander.
James and Bernice.
Good evening. I am James Alexander, and I'm here standing for North Tulsa, as usual. After reading this that was passed out at the meeting, I'm appalled, because it's the same old story, same ending, everything's the same. Everybody is working to move black people out of North Tulsa. Get that through your head. Okay, black people, black people, black people. And you know, once they move you out of North Tulsa, where you gonna go? About this money. This money was voted by the people, and it should stay where it is. But I'm appalled at what's going on with this. You have Partners Tulsa that is not working in one iota with North Tulsa at all. All you have to do is look north. Look at the people that are moving in those new homes that they are building. This is a sham. And everybody on this board should be shaming themselves for letting it happen. You should be ashamed. I'm ashamed that I live in a place that is still racist from 1921. It's time that you say you want to be a world-class city. Get off your butt and let's make this a world-class city. Now, when we first started coming down here, Roy Marshall, Edgar Moore, and Carol Young were with the TDA, and they just robbed North Tulsa, along with Brenda Miller. It was a robbery. Daylight robbery, no guns, nothing, no shots fired. Stole Tulsa blind. And it's still going on today. Tulsa has money. I know this for sure, because I have talked with people from HUD. I don't just come up here and stand and talk for no reason. I have a reason. I live in North Tulsa. I grew up in North Tulsa, and I want to stay in North Tulsa, and I am. Now, it's time to get your act together. I don't care who you are. I don't know what color you are or whatever. It's time to get this city back on the right track, because for too long, 106 years, this has been going on, 105, this has been going on. God dang it, it's time to stop this.
Ms. Bernice?
Good evening, councilors. I think I've heard more than enough, and I sure have seen more than enough. And we have been in battle with this city government through our neighborhood association for over 30 years now, forcing things to be done. But we're at the end of it. So I just hope somehow this community can get it together, because all of us matter. I don't understand the hate, the fight to hinder people from progressing, even children. I opened and operated a youth center for 2 years here to get an understanding, because I'm not from Tulsa. Even children. So let's just try to work together. And of course, my husband and I and our neighborhood association will continue to work until the job is finished. And saying that the job be finished means that every person matters. And when you're purposely causing harm to people just because, we can do better. And I believe we will do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Matisse Mason, followed by Mary Williams.
Good evening, City Council. I'm a little bit under the weather, but you know, that doesn't stop my loudness, but bear with me. Just a couple of things before I get started. I just wanted to clarify, and I could be wrong, but the $5 million will stay for the purpose, just be administered by a different organization. Now, I know that's a rhetorical question, maybe can get answered later. And then, you know, I was wondering about the conflict, because I did see on Partner Tulsa's website that they have a big decal of TEDC on there as one of their partners. So it might not be as much of a conflict as what it looks like. But my name is Matisse Mason, and I'm a child care business owner and realtor and nonprofit leader in North Tulsa. Every day I work directly with families who are doing their best to build stable, healthy lives, but often face barriers and systems alone cannot solve. Through my nonprofit work, we focus on helping families move out of poverty by meeting them where they are and walking alongside them as they participate in their own progress. Because one thing I know for sure is that you cannot do something for someone without them. Real change requires partnership, trust, and shared effort. And that's exactly why I'm here today in support of the Brown Ordinance language change. In our work, it is essential that we identify trusted collaborators and partners, organizations that not only understand the community, but have proven that they will show up consistently and compassionately. Now, when I think of a trusted partner, one who stands above the rest, that's Tulsa Economic Development Corporation. In 2009, I sought funding to grow my childcare business. Like many others in North Tulsa, I was turned away again and again by traditional financial institutions. Rejection became something I expected. But TEDC saw something different. They provided me with a business loan when no one else would. But more importantly, they didn't stop there. They gave me education, the guidance, and support I needed to make my business not just survive, but succeed. It was a true partnership, and together we were successful. Then in 2010, I experienced a devastating loss. My brother passed away. And when your family is when the business runs the family, that kind of loss is not just emotional, it is financial. But once again, TEDC stepped up. They wrapped their services and support around me and my family. They helped us get our payments back on track. And when I say back on track, I mean they was way off track. But they helped get our payments back on track. And over time, with their continued guidance, we didn't just stabilize. We paid off our building completely. Think about that. An organization that not only helped us get a loan, but helped us keep it, sustain it, and ultimately own what we worked so hard for. My story is not unique. There's countless business owners and nonprofit leaders across North Tulsa who will tell you the exact same thing. TEDC is fair, honest, accessible, and deeply committed to the people that they serve. When you call them, you don't have to have those same barriers. You get answers, firm, because they firm, honest, supportive answers. And when you look at economic development across North Tulsa, you'll find that TEDC is at the center of it, supporting our projects like Oasis, helping address our food desert, investing in developments like the Shops on Peoria, bringing businesses and services closer to our community, supporting small business access points like UPS stores. And then the gem of North Tulsa, Moton, who they'll be doing the ribbon cutting tomorrow. They have been there. They are still there. And they have proven that they can be trusted with the resources meant for our community. So when we talk about who should help facilitate and steward funding under this Brown ordinance, the answer is clear. We need partners who understand the community, have a track record of success, lead with integrity, and trusted by the people that they serve. TEDC is that partner. If we want real impact in North Tulsa, if we want economic vitality that actually reaches the people who need it most, then we must invest through organizations that have already demonstrated that they can deliver. I stand here today not just as a business owner, but as someone whose life and livelihood was strengthened because of TEDC, was given the opportunity, that TEDC gave me the opportunity to do the best that I possibly could. And I ask you to support this ordinance. I was wondering if I was going to get an opportunity to tell this story. And I'm glad that I have that opportunity to do so today.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Mary Williams, followed by Francetta Mays.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Giving honor to God and to our wonderful mayor and wonderful city councilors. I am grateful to stand here for the $5 million to remain as the voters requested. As most of you know, when you disempower a voter, it leads to apathy and it leads to mistrust. And this is something that affects every district today. A quote that I have basically is, disempowerment of voters produces disengagement in voting, no matter what the district or demographic. And I think that each of you know how important that is, to keep the voters trusting and relying on, when they come to that voter's booth, what they have voted for And in 2023, 2/3 of voters approved this $5 million allocation specifically for the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. I attended many of the meetings, which included Councilor Harper and many that are here, and I saw the due diligence of so many Tulsans making a difference and voicing their opinions, using those sticky notes, red, yellow, green, and blue, all over the walls. And this is what it came to. 2/3 of the voters said, we want this. And as I look at this Vision Tulsa, let's not abort the baby before she gets started. Those voters have a vision for Tulsa and for this district, and we want to see it happen. One of the things that I would like to say as well, you all are elected because you're trusted to uphold the voters' yes or the voters' no. And with all of the meritorious projects that can be probably happening soon in some of your districts, we don't want this type of thing to take precedence where people will come back when your voters said yes and say no. So I think that at this time, your stance to respect the voters, this is not against any other organization in Tulsa that's been doing wonderful, wonderful things, and we applaud that. But it represents growth. It represents growth. It represents involving more people to be involved, because one district does not just have one voice. There are many voices. And again, 2/3 of the voters voted yes. So please think in terms not just about this issue or not just about North Tulsa. Think about your district. I don't think you would want this to happen there. So I implore you, show the voters that when they say yes, it means yes, and when they say no, it means no, and broaden the spectrum for all of the people that represent North Tulsa, South, East, and West. When they come out and make a decision, there are many voices saying still, I want to be heard. I want to be respected. And legally, this was done. We want to keep the voters engaged and not disempowered. And in this city, now nationally and internationally known, we don't want that type of shade to be put up on this historic district by changing an ordinance that was approved by the people. So we, the people, still say yes. Keep the $5 million and honor those that have taken time and effort with a glorious plan that's still in part of vision, but we don't want to abort the vision. God bless you, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Fresetta Bays, followed by Greg Taylor.
Good evening to the honorable counselors, our mayor. I wanted to first of all thank you for your commitment to do a part-time job full-time and the work that you put in. My name is Pastor Francetta Mays. I'm the associate pastor of the only surviving Black-owned business that remains on Greenwood in the Black Wall Street area. The only Black-owned facility that remains on Greenwood. I stand before you as someone that used to be a skeptic after listening to the community chatter, the division, and the black hole narratives that you hear all the time, I'm sure. I decided to show up on the other side of the conflict, to enter the trenches as an active servant in this community, serving the people, and trying to figure out how do we get here as a community. Because it's just confusing to someone that maybe wasn't born or wasn't a descendant of this community. So as I ventured into these rooms, showing up at these Partner Tulsa meetings, showing up at the various meetings, showing up even when the discussion of the bylaws for Partner Tulsa and the way that it was set up as far as if you were on the advisory board, that you could not be a part of the board. I was in the meeting when I heard the verbiage. So a lot of the confusion, even now as we stand with the conflict at hand, is a direct result of the fact that when you're looking at character and integrity and truth, when you look at bylaws, when you look at commitments and committees, you look at them to do the job that they initially was supposed to do. So a lot of the conflict that we're facing right now is a direct result of things partially being done, but we still have the receipts to show that this was the order in which it was supposed to be handled. I want to speak from both my faith and responsibility to the people that I serve, because what I see in this moment is not just a policy discussion, it's a community with a charge to grow up for the future. I noticed by attending these meetings that people are doing the work every day, not just something or someone that is up for a vote or an election. And unfortunately, I've been on the other side, which represents conflict, chaos, and confusion from within. Even yesterday, I was sent dialogue, someone explained, and it truly broke my heart, knowing that people would hear the inaccuracies in promoting separation still in a community, but we can't show up in a room together to discuss things as adults. We cannot get to the bottom of the conflict by hearing only the distorted narratives of bruised egos and divisive political rhetoric. Scripture reminds us in Matthew 7:16, you know them by their fruit. So let me be clear about why I'm here tonight. I give tours in the only Black-owned place surviving in Tulsa on Greenwood at the historic Vernon AME Church to people from all across the world. When I look at the urban renewal, the red line, and the things that are familiar to this, this community, respectfully, entities like the American Bank of Oklahoma, who was exposed in 2023, for redlining, happens to have an office right there on Greenwood in the heart. But there's not a lot of confusion about that, and I'm not standing up here to talk about them directly, but if we're moving people in that did the damage to us in this community and not standing up for that, why can't we stand up for things that's intended for this community? There is definitely Black businesses that moved out of Greenwood or were moved out of Greenwood to make room for these entities to come in. And we are used to, as a community, of placing a Band-Aid on the gunshot wound, allowing redlining and different things to be set up here in this community. So why designating the $5 million within our community to a trusted source matters, because we get to collectively examine the receipts of work already done, not conversations to convince others to help us steward our resources properly for District 1. Specifically, Tulsa Economic Development Corporation has demonstrated a commitment to North Tulsa through real tangible development, and we have seen the work. We've seen the investment and we've seen the impact. I also want to speak on the governance. A significant amount of development in North Tulsa is governed through the Tulsa Development Authority.
Your time's expired.
And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Greg Taylor, followed by Ashley Phillipson.
Hi to the honorable members of Tulsa City Council. My name is Greg Taylor, and I address you as a neighbor and a resident of District 1. My wife and I moved to District 1 intentionally and remodeled a house, and that remodel process of a 100-year-old home mirrors the struggles and the foundation problems and the mold and the termites, mirrors the deep housing issues facing North Tulsans. Our nonprofit 1256 movement repairs homes and builds generational wealth to heal the harm of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. North Tulsa's foundation still needs some structural repair after 105 years of deliberate disinvestment. I would say deliberate and disinvestment. The historic mold of redlining and racist policies systematically has stripped millions in wealth from North Tulsans, and if you multiply the interest not earned over that, it's in billions. I stand in solidarity as a white person with the black community against mass disinvestment that continues. The rotting wood of our homes reminds me of how 400 years of racist policies in our country and this city and affirmative action for white people that look like me have eaten away at the timbers of American life. Water damage from failed urban renewal remains visible. TDA, I believe, struggles to remodel a house that was not built with the plumb line of justice because it was built on the old urban renewal model and department. And so therefore, there are unnecessary land holdings the city of Tulsa has that rob the city of potential tax revenues. To rebuild these foundation cracks and toxic mold, I believe we must remodel our systems, and a couple of critical things that I think are important as it relates to this public hearing about the ordinance, the proposed ordinance. However the vote goes, I believe that we need equitable land transfer. The city-owned land and funds in North Tulsa should be transferred to black-owned and managed organizations to facilitate the equitable distribution of property. And then second, a non-restrictive reparations, ensuring reparations funding is distributed without restrictive conditions, managed by established entities such as Greenwood Trust, TEDC, TEDC, that prioritize the community's prosperity and voice. And I want to just close with just coming back around to my house. I moved into a home, remodeled it, and on either side of me are veterans. And those two veterans struggle with their homes, and they're disabled, they can't take care of their home. And so I helped each one of them in very minor ways, but we've, over the years, tried to help one another. And this is the golden rule. Move into a neighborhood and try to help one another on your right and on your left. And I hope that just this kind of picture of a house and the issues with a house and a metaphor for the city problems that we face is maybe somewhat helpful, because I can just put myself in your seats and understand how difficult it is to vote on matters like this. And I respect you all and appreciate your service to the city, and ask you to just keep going on. And whatever the vote is, keep the people that are doing it accountable. And let's get this thing done. Let's not let this stall us. Because the development of these kinds of projects are encouraging. And I think voters, I'm not a politician, but I as a voter, I want to see results, and I want to see accountability, whoever it is that's running those processes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Ashley Phillipson, followed by Terry Gateward.
Good evening, councilors. Thank you for giving us an audience tonight. My name is Ashley Harris Phillipson, and I serve as the chair of the Tulsa Development Authority. I wrote the RFP for the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Planning process, intentionally embedding the community engagement and co-development frameworks in partnership with many community members who are in this room today, including residents, developers, Councilor Hall Harper, the late Dwayne Majette, and others. I want to be clear. Many residents' connection to this work did not begin with that RFP in 2019 when it began forming. Launched in 2020, it goes back decades alongside neighbors, elders, and organizers who were fighting for this land and community long before any city process existed. I am here tonight to want to be clear, not in opposition to North Tulsa investment. I am here because I believe we must honor what this community built and what Tulsa voters approved. Point one, I would love for us to honor the vote. In February 2023, approximately 60% of Tulsa voters approved the Improve Our Tulsa 3 proposition. Included in that vote was $5 million explicitly designated for Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan implementation. The Brown ordinance process, these hearings exist because the city made a solemn pledge to voters. Title 43M says that many attempt to divert these funds to any attempt to divert these funds to other purposes, quote, shall constitute sufficient grounds for the removal of such officer or employee. And that is not a boilerplate. That is the law treating this as a binding commitment to the public. The language of the ordinance tells the story. The original ordinance uses two words that matter: plan implementation, not district spending, not economic development broadly, which is what the revised ordinance says. Plan implementation is tied to a specific plan on specific parcels that the community designed. The proposed ordinance replaces the language with economic development, infrastructure improvements, and related projects in City Council District 1. The discourse this morning mentioned like Kirkpatrick Heights, but TEDC would manage it. I do want us to compare and contrast the language of the ordinance amendment, because it does change it from Kirkpatrick Heights implementation, which is what was voted on. The geographic scope is expanded in that revision. Second, the implementing entity shifts entirely to TEDC with no connection to the master plan or its implementation in the written word. Therefore, the purpose becomes open-ended. Point 3, on the broader footprint argument, I've heard that the claim that the RFP covered a broader footprint than 56 acres. Having written the RFP, I want to be precise about what that means. Kirkpatrick Heights parcels exist because UCAT was vacant for years. TDA reacquired that land to develop it in service of the community, and those parcels held in trust are the core subject of the master plan. The broader university heritage footprint does have a framework to guide comprehensive development, but those parcels are explicit in the RFP, which I'll be following up in an email. Awareness and access are not equal. The people most aware of this proposed change and most able to attend a 5 p.m. city council meeting are not representative of the full community this plan was built with. Residents, elders, youth, and working people shaped the vision over years, deserve to have their investment honored, not undone in a process that many do not even know is happening today and next week. Trust is real. The answer is not to start over. I've heard concerns about trust and take them seriously. Distrust of institutions is not abstract. It is earned through a long and painful documented history. That is exactly why this master plan was designed the way it was. Community-led, community-controlled, and dedicated capital that could not be redirected. Dismantling this funding does not resolve distrust. It actually repeats the pattern. I personally reached out to Councilor Hall Harper and Dr. Turner Addison to facilitate a meeting in September after her town hall last year. I have introduced Councilor Hall Harper to John Hall. Our elected officials should be involved, fully involved, but involvement is not the same as starting over. Every future ballot measure the City of Tulsa asked voters to approve rests on the credibility of this process. When we voted yes on a sales tax package, 60% did. We're making a decision based on specific commitments about how our money will be spent. If you all vote to redirect these funds, the message to all of us voters is clear. Your yes vote is provisional. It can be renegotiated after the election by whoever holds office at the time. North Tulsa has watched promised investments be redirected, delayed, and diminished before. The history of disinvestment for people in this room it's not dead, it's a living memory. I just ask that we do not scrap what the community built. That is not progress, it is regression. It is 10 to 20 more years of that land sitting vacant. Please stick to the original vote. We can do more together than we can do apart, and their meetings are public.
All right, thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Terry Gateward, followed by Kyan Camus.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I am a retired City of Tulsa employee, worked here about 27 years, 20 of it helping small businesses get contracts with the City of Tulsa. I speak very highly of TEDC. A lot of money was helped small businesses grow through that organization. I speak very highly of Rose Washington Renty for being that advocate for small businesses. I myself am a small business. And I speak because when TEDC is involved, yes, it's an equitable spend if it's monitored. That's not just TEDC, that's the City of Tulsa at large. It's equitable because we all put the money in the pot. And TEDC gets a piece of that pot every year from the City of Tulsa. I don't know just how much, but I know from allocation TDC get some of the city's money when that CDBG money come up. So I don't know about this 5 million, but I do hear the people when they're saying, when we vote something in, too often it's reallocated somewhere else for whatever reason. And that is mistrust, and that's why a lot of people don't go to the polls, because they're like, even though we voted for it, it didn't go to its intended purpose. So I stand with them that say, don't move that money. And I also say TEDC is a very crucial part of small business development. I wouldn't take anything from them, never. In the 20-something years that I worked at the City of Tulsa in the Human Rights Department, that was my funding source that sent small businesses, some of them to millionaire status. And she's still working with them. And she's gonna work with us. But I don't think this particular money has to go to, I know her personally, Rose, this organization, in order for it to be allocated properly. I found that when the City of Tulsa's involved, we get a fairer chance at this money. Because, I mean, Council Hall Harper was at the Housing Authority, and she brought in HUD themselves to tell us we were going to be included on the 36th Street project over there on 36th Street as a hauling company. I would have been the first in the door. We were not. We never were. We came from the quarry to that project, but we never, and I sent emails to the Housing Authority. Council Hall Harper was involved in the project on Martin Luther King right now that Terry McGee started. They had dirt mounds stacked 2 stories high. Not one call. Attended all the meetings. I am a small business in the community. I am in the 74106 zip code. I am not being included on these projects just because Council Hall Harper is in the room. Doesn't include small businesses. Small business is intentional. So when they built the Oasis, again, around the corner, I maybe hauled one load from the Oasis to the bike trail, the BMX, one load. And then here come Timberwolf and everybody else from all over the place hauling in everything else. I was in every meeting trying to get an opportunity. So I'm not going to say that was TDC. I'm going to say it was broken. And I'm going to say when I go to the City of Tulsa, and that's who I can go to, I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't feel represented in my community right now. I don't. I don't feel I can go to Council Hall Harper and say, hey, they're not including me on the Housing Authority. They're not including me on the Martin Luther King project over here. They're not including me. I think it would fall on deaf ears because I'm not one of hers. Amen. And that's not fair to us who voted in this money to be allocated to the project that I do go to those meetings. And I feel like when that ground started moving, because of who's governing it, I'm going to be included. I was included on Langston. You know, the city did that. I was included. I was in the room and made sure inclusion existed on the Wayman Tisdale project. Wasn't even the city's, but I was in the room asking the questions to make sure that the people that looked like the people who was going to be served at that clinic was included. And there was times where people was in the room that looked like those people that didn't say a word.
I'm sorry, your time's expired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker, please.
We have 2 more speakers.
Oh, 2.
Our
Thought
next
we had
speaker is
15.
Cayenne Camus.
Thought we had 15.
Hello, counselors. It's good to see you tonight. I just want to thank you for your time tonight. As I thought about my comments, I really debated and wrangled with what I might say. And as I stand here before you, what I've decided to focus on is the stories of those I have worked with related to the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. Ariel Humphrey and the audience visited New Orleans to see the work of Jane's Place and People's Housing Plus as community leaders sought to understand the best form of governance for implementation of the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. Dr. Laverne Ford Wimberly attended every meeting to guide the decision to form a CDC and served on the selection committee to evaluate applications for an advisory committee to establish a CDC. I think she also spent her weekend developing her own survey to gain input on the form of community-led governance that should be implemented to guide the execution of the master plan. Brandon Jackson visited Louisville, Kentucky to see the inspired work of Russell, A Place of Promise, and also reviewed applications for the advisory committee that helped to stand up the CDC. Eugene Harris and Lana Turner Addison have invested countless hours in service of the vision that is the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. It has been one of the deepest honors of my career to have worked alongside these citizens and others over the past almost a decade. They have challenged me, they have inspired me, and they have shown me what it takes to do the hard work to build trust. No process is perfect, and I, by no means, stand here in front of you tonight claiming that the process that we've gone through has been perfect. I stand here, though, tonight, having worked alongside so many amazing Tulsans who believe in the vision that is the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan. I stand here tonight not in opposition to accountability or in opposition to financial stewardship. In fact, I feel confident that every single person who has spoken here tonight believes deeply in those two things. While I am asking you to vote no on this ordinance, my principal ask is that you dig in with the people in this room who have been doing this work over the past several years, decades. It's just the work that I've had the chance to play a part in has been over the past decade. But this is decades worth of fights that came before me. This is not easy work. It is challenging work. This is not quick work. But it is work that requires the certainty of public funding to move forward. And that is exactly why the $5 million was placed on the ballot in service of the implementation of the master plan. That was the message that we heard over and over in every single public meeting over the course of an 18-month master planning process and the years since that plan was adopted, that people did not want to see another plan sit on a shelf. They wanted to see the commitment of funding to invest in implementation and execution. I ask that you keep these funds preserved for just that, and I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker, please.
Our final speaker is Berlinda Radney.
Good evening. My name is Berlinda Radney. I'm speaking today with two hats. One of them is as the executive director for the Historic Greenwood District Main Street. I've listened really carefully. And the other is actually as a member of the Citizens Advisory Team that is connected to the Greenwood Unity Heritage Sector Plan. I want to start with just a few remarks that have been made by the other members of the public. I've been listening very carefully, and I actually share and understand their consternation. But one thing that I do want to say, and consistent with what Ashley did, is that master plan was envisioned, as a revitalization instrument for what made my heart sing when she included in the language that it was I'm sorry, I've been having trouble, you all know that, with asthma today. So I'm having trouble catching my breath. I'm going to go slower. In the language that was included in the RFP, referring to the Greenwood community as a freedom colony, because it really was just that. It was a freedom colony that was connected to the black towns that have a deep and historic connection to the freedmen, who are parts of the tribes that when they came here. But I do think it's important to acknowledge that the distrust that a lot of people who have long-term ties to the city of Tulsa feel about development in this realm, and people come by that rightfully. I mean, the Tulsa Urban Renewal Authority was founded in 1959. And in the handout that I gave you, what you see here are 23 legacy sector plans. The district that we're talking about has not had an opportunity to operate within the free market of ideas and as a free economy at least since 1959. And the reason I think that is important is because the faithful participation that the community did in supporting the master plan and its development was in part a response to the city and TAO and TDA's agreement to step back from pursuing this kind of development inside of a sector plan and to instead move towards a more cooperative system of developing the master plan. I think that also for the first time, there in fact was a commitment on the part of the city and the council to designate funds that would be used for implementation in that boundary. But it's important to note that if I can see that first one, it's important to note that the master plan boundary itself is fluid. So in terms of what we've seen, what was in the RFP, if you can go to the first one, that was the original boundary as proposed. But if you go to the second map, the boundary as is published includes Evans Fin Tube. Evans Fin Tube was never at all a part of what was envisioned to be the central driving force for what community was interested in developing. I'm going to remain agnostic about where and how and why it moved in. I think it's notable that it's kind of out again. But the idea that because it's written down, that it is concretized, I think is a little excessive. I understand the councilwoman's desire to actually expand the reach of this kind of implementation fund to include a larger segment of her boundary, because in fact, the larger District 1 needs that kind of outside eye on the opportunities in terms of market development, in terms of transportation systems, community benefit agreements, all of those things. And the last thing that I would like to say is that on the map that you have, that's the last map, as a member of the community advisory team that was recomposed after the TDA elected to amend that sector plan, which caused all kinds of furor in the community around the blight study. And the reason that this is still relevant is that we're looking at seeing that resurrected, which means that now we're looking at a large catchment area, larger than the boundary of this that's on the screen, that's now blighted or potentially blighted. And the thing about a blight study and a sector plan is that trumps the work of a CDC, that trumps the work of a Main Street, that trumps the work of everything except the Urban Renewal Authority.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, without objection, we will exit public hearings for mayor's item 4A, report from the mayor or his designee on community events, briefing on city activities, city efforts, and new business. Mayor is not here? No report? No report. All right, the remaining four items 4B through 4J will not be read aloud. However, public comments will be received on these items. Do we have any speakers?
We have one speaker on items 4F, H, and J, Mr. John Huffines.
Thank you, councilors. Yes, agenda item 4F. This resolution approves the allocation of affordable housing trust funds in alignment with the development incentives policy of the city of Tulsa. It is a step towards strengthening homes and neighborhoods across our city. As we consider this investment, it offers a wonderful opportunity to recognize the goodness of the Lord Jesus Christ, who teaches us to love our neighbors. May this effort bring stability, dignity, and encouragement to many, and may it continue to influence a community where generosity, compassion, and love for neighbors shine brightly. Also, I'm grateful for the churches in this area helping so many in so many ways. Agenda item 4H. This item highlights a travel donation from this Israel-supporting organization, Bloomberg Philanthropies. Here they are supporting Dana Walton's participation in the Bloomberg Harvard PMI in Cambridge. Opportunities like this can strengthen leadership, increase knowledge, and bring insight that can serve our city. This kind of learning and exchange can remind us of the value of strong partnerships across nations, Israel included. Perhaps similar to Bloomberg Philanthropies coming alongside Dana Walton, who does good for our city, they have come alongside Israel, who does good for nations by enriching through innovation, education, medicine, and deep heritage of faith and perseverance. The people of Israel, along with Jewish community worldwide, enrich the USA and nations of the earth. And in that same spirit of learning and excellence, this opportunity through Bloomberg Philanthropies represents the very kind of investment that can bring added value back to Tulsa. As Dana Walton returns from Cambridge, this experience carries the potential to multiply in wisdom, leadership, and service for our remarkable community, Tulsa, Oklahoma. God Almighty, we invoke your guidance. Agenda item 4J, a special event application. This item highlights the Tully's Tacos 5 de Mayo celebration, scheduled for May 5th at 419 South Boulder. Events like this bring people together in a spirit of joy, culture, and community connection. And as we celebrate their victory in battle together, we recognize a deeper foundation for unity and joy. God is good, and his goodness is seen as we honor the Lordship of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, whose love brings light, hope, and purpose to our lives and our city. 5 de Mayo offers a meaningful opportunity to appreciate the rich heritage and contributions of Mexican through Mexican culture, through food, music, and fellowship. Gatherings like this often strengthens the bonds between neighbors and families. Thank you, counselors, for always doing your best to help Tulsa be her best.
Thank you, Mr. Huffines. Are there any other speakers?
We have no more speakers.
All right, is there council discussion?
Move to approve items 4B through J.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Gilbert?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes.
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Okay, items 4B through 4J are approved. 5 authorities, boards, and commissions. There are no items this week. 6 ordinances, first reading. The following items in this section of the agenda will not be read aloud, and without objection, items 6A through 6E will be forwarded to the next council meeting for action. 7, ordinances, second reading. 7A, rezoning ordinance Z 7853 from RS3 to CH for property located north and east of the northeast corner of Southwest Boulevard and West 38th Place South. B, ordinance amending Title 4, Tulsa Revised Ordinances titled Mayor, Auditor, and Council, Chapter 2, titled Auditor, Section 207, titled Additional Duties, providing that the city auditor shall promote transparency and public access to information by identifying, collecting, and reviewing, providing data maintained by the city of Tulsa. C, ordinance closing a certain utility easement requested by Deborah K. Palaniski, Sizemore and Associates for property located at 6308 East 109th Street, Lot 3, Block 1 of Tracy Estates for the building of a home. Do we have any speakers?
We have one speaker on item 7A, Bree Barrett.
Good evening.
Good evening. I won't take up much of your time. I'm Bree Barrett. I'm with Project Manager in Capital Projects in City Architectural Building Services. And this is a city-owned property, and the adjacent properties are also zoned commercial. And this will benefit the user group of the building on this parcel. And I appreciate your support in passing this zoning change. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that the only speaker, Chris?
We have no more speakers.
All right. Is there council discussion?
I want to give acknowledgement to Bree and the work that her and her entire team are doing on Route 66, and so thank you so much for speaking on that.
All right. Councilor Archie, thank you.
Move to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I'll make the motion. Move to approve items 7A through C with the emergency clause on 7A.
Second. Please call the roll.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Gilbert?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes.
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Right, items 7A through 7C are approved with the emergency clause on 7A. 8, council items, 8A, councilors' announcements and reports on current community events, activities, efforts, and concerns. Other than announcements and reports, no discussion will ensue. Councilor Hall Harper?
Yes, I would just like to invite everyone out to the ribbon cutting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the gym of North Tulsa, the Greenwood Entrepreneurship at Moton. It will be at 609 East Pine Place.
Okay. Any other counselors? Okay, Counselor Bengal?
Yeah, I'm not prepared to talk about it specifically in detail, but we finally reached our 3,000. We plateaued our 3,000
Oh, we sure did.
car goal registration for the Route 66 Centennial event for the weekend of the 28th through the 30th. I think we're at 3,045. We have 41 states represented, including Canada as well. So just amazing work that was done to put this event together, or that for the entire weekend. Of course, Mayfest will occur during that same weekend. So that's going to be funded through the donation of a vehicle, a custom vehicle that was being donated by Vice Grip Garage. I don't think if any of you have ever heard of Derek Beery. I've started binging his videos. He's just doing amazing stuff with cars that he just finds in fields. But anyway, we still have a need for volunteers for this event. So if you haven't volunteered, or if you're not part of the event in any way, shape, or form, please go to Visit Tulsa and register for volunteering for this event, because we still need volunteers. And one of the great things about that is you'll be certified. You'll get a document that certifies you as a participant in that world record. So again, these are registered cars. We haven't gotten to May 30th. These cars still have to show up. So hopefully the weather holds and we'll beat that world record. So thank you.
Right, we might go down in history for the longest parade on that, so. All right, any other announcements? Going, all right. 9, new business, 9A, no items this week. 10, hearing of appeals. Hearing and possible action upholding or denying an appeal to the city council requested by Mr. Adatula, contesting the decision of the nuisance hearing officer in the nuisance case number 116646-2025, finding that the property located at 5707 North Frankfurt Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma, is a public nuisance and ordering its abatement. We will hear from the representative from the city. During your time, please include a summary of the administration hearing outcomes, and since this item was continued, provide a status update of violations.
Brant voted me representative of the city on this item.
What? No pressure there.
Yeah, Carrie Fothergill, Public Advocate, City of Tulsa. I've been working with Mr. Adatula. Mr. Adatula's been working hard on his property. It is cleaned up and secured. It has not been completely rehabilitated. Mr. Adatula wants to move to sell the property. So he's been engaging with us. He's done everything we've asked to. I think at this point, I don't want to speak for Mr. Adatula, but I don't think he has the funds to reinvest in this property, so he would like to move to sell it. And he had a buyer, but I think he's lost that buyer, so he'll need a little more time. But I will, Mr. Adatula, you want to come up and speak to the council? Sorry. All right, good job.
We can bring him a hand microphone.
Well, he's here now.
I'm
so-
here, you know, I appreciate
All right,
that.
all right.
How you all doing, councilors? Glad to be here. And also, thank you. You guys kind of give me my mojo back. Okay. On this property, okay, my neighbor asked me to let you know that, number one, they don't want the property demolished, because the way they look at it, if there is a new building there, that will bring everyone's property high. And I can, properties, tax will go up because of the new building. And like in my area, okay, I live close to 36. With all the improvements that you guys did, I can say that, which is good, but my property jumps from 50,000 to 135,000. Okay, and then the property tax is about $1,000. But since with my age, and then with double home is instead, it brings to 500 and something, So what I'm saying is, so I can see what they're talking about, because if that place is demolished, if there is a new home there, all the property will do go up. Okay, back to the business in hand, okay. That property right there, actually, I guess last time I did mention that that belongs, I donated to Joseph Adetula Foundation. It's a non-profit, okay? And then I run, that, but still, when I had it, okay, the only thing that was stopping me back then, I didn't go ahead and get my 501c because they told me what type of, my donation would be more than 50,000. I said, no, I don't think so. They said, well, when you get over 50,000, then you can go ahead and apply for your 501c. So what I did back then, I've been using my money to keep the, because all we did back then, we had the gangs, because gang is what killed my son. Instead of me to be part of the problem, I tried to be part of the solution, So that's why I had that Joseph Adetula Foundation, So what we do is go to school, make sure that those kids are in school, all kind of thing like that, you know. And then back then, I would have to say something to late Officer Marvin Blade, because he was he helped a lot on that to make sure on this gun violence and everything like that, you know, okay. So now, later on, you know, I got sick, okay, and I didn't think I was gonna make it, you know, because my sugar level was 900 and something, you know. And I said, well, Lord, you know, if I made this thing through, you know, because I've been neglecting the foundation, you know, I would go back, you know. So when everything, you know, then I was supposed to be bound wheelchair, you know, okay. Being that wheelchair, I started a Tulsa cold case because I see, because of my son, he been killed since 2005. Nothing was done about it, so then I started Tulsa cold case. Then when I find out that other people needs that, I start investigating and then put all those things so that people can be aware of those cold cases, you know. Okay, now Tulsa cold case has about almost 3,000 followers, you know. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do right now is, I said, since there is a need for those things, you know, why don't I just go ahead and get my 501c and then use that location for where people can come in and then do that. So that's what I'm about, you know, because selling the property and not even know that it was appraised for $43,000, you know, which I have proved here, you know. So that's what they charge me taxes on. So I don't think a $43,000 should be something that should be demolished, you know, something like that. If I can just go ahead and turn it into non-profit, you know, since it's already non-profit anyway, you know, or what is stopping me from getting funding is turn it to the 501c, which I'm about to do, you know. And then go from there.
Mr. Atatula?
Counselor Hall Harper.
So what I'm understanding then, because I'm almost some clarification, because Carrie, you said that he has agreed to sell the property or not?
Yes, the plan that Mr. Atatula told me was he was wanting to sell the property. This nonprofit is a new idea, I do believe, that he's pitching right now. But I think bottom line, what Mr. Atatula, I think he's asking for a longer extension.
That's what
so
I was
we
getting
can
at.
work
So
on
are we
this,
needing
if
to
that would be
extend this
okay.
to give him more time? But for now, Brent, it is secured and it meets the code.
Yes, well, it's not met the code, but it is mowed, secured, and clean.
Okay, so he's not in violation of any code violations?
Not in that area, no.
Okay. And so, Jack, can we extend this again to give him time to continue working the plan? So is that kind of what we were thinking, Brent?
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Just
how
like I
long?
said, you know.
Yeah. How long? What do you think? 3 months?
60
months?
days?
Huh?
60 days, 90? What do you think, Brent?
I think 60 to 90 days, since he
Okay.
has a.
Let's go
buyer
90
that-
days, yeah.
Since he had a buyer that fell off the ability, we've got that new investors list, we'll start working with him.
Okay.
To make sure he's, you know, got at least a longer list of search for purchasers.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so go ahead. August 5th? Okay, is that 90 days? Okay, so I move that we extend this date to the date certain of August 5th, roughly 90 days, for an update.
Okay, and we'll continue to work with Mr. Atatula where we can to help.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Lori, please call the roll.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Gilbert?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes.
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
All right, motion
Thank you.
passes. Yeah,
Appreciate
the
it.
extension passes.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on, 11, hearing of public comments. Uh-oh. We have no items this week. That was the diamond in my ring that just fell out. 12, we are adjourned.
These buildings were designed to complement one another inside